Robert, do you have any injury updates? Is Elijah, does he have a concussion?
So Elijah's in the concussion protocol, and same thing. We're day to day with Tyler with regards to his chest.
Robert, what was your message to the team today, a day after, and watching the film and kind of having time to absorb it?
It's the same thing. We're this league is about precision, Kaz, and it's when you get to game day, being off that much can exacerbate an explosive. It can look you can look really, really bad, and you trusting the week of preparation, trusting everything that you're putting into it, and then just taking it to the football field and just letting it loose. It's a young group, and just got to find a way to just let it loose and trust their preparation.
Robert, is there anything that you can do to try to help Mike out at all? Because it seems like he and the offense in general are struggling a little bit.
How long which way from?
Mike LaFleur.
No, I know, I get that. Can you elaborate more on the question though? Just help him
Yeah, is there anything? I mean, it seems like the offense obviously is in a rut. I know there's questionable at times play calling. Is there anything? I mean, he's a first year play caller. He's never called plays in the NFL before. Is there anything that you can do to help him at all get this going?
Yeah, we talk every day. We talk about just the overall look of the offense. What are you trying to achieve there? What are you trying to achieve with a play-to-play basis? There's obviously anytime a play doesn't work, it's a bad call. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. If some of those plays work, if we connect on some of those checkdowns, if we protect a little bit better, then everyone's celebrating the play calling. So it's, you go back, you don't want to make any rash decisions. You got to study the tape. We poured over it for the last 6 or 8 hours. And, if it's play calling, it's play calling. We're not afraid to admit that either. But at the same time, we're 3 games in, it's round 1 of a 15-round fight. So it's not like our faces are broken or anything. We just got to continue to work and try to find a way to get better.
Robert, through the first few games, when Zach Wilson throws the ball under 3 seconds, he's been able to have a lot of success, a lot of efficiency. But the second, he has to hold it a little bit longer, that's when the sacks start to pile on. So what can, the offense do to, I guess, when he has to hold the ball a little bit longer, have more success in those situations?
That's everything. That's everybody. So from route running to protection, all of it. I think it was on Sunday Night Football last night. They flashed a stat of Aaron Rodgers getting rid of the ball in less than 2.5 was like 11 of 11 for 180 yards. But that's all part of timing and rhythm, hitting your back foot, getting rid of the ball, trusting what you see, trusting your teammates, get it to your teammates in space so they can make plays, and those are things that he's getting better at. Obviously, there's some good plays that he could take from yesterday, but there's also a lot of teachable moments in terms of, once you hitch in this league, it's from a defensive perspective, we tell our D-line it's mandatory. If a quarterback hitches, he better smell your breath. If he takes 2 hitches, he better be on the ground. So that's league-wide talk. So for the quarterback to understand that, 2 hitches is asking a lot out of your protection, he'll start to learn, and we'll start to figure out that he's got to be able to access checkdowns a little bit quicker, and he's got to access those outlets a little bit quicker. But he had some good moments in the game. He's just got to do it at a higher level, and it'll be a little bit more consistent.
Robert, it wasn't obviously we didn't have the luxury of watching practice film back during OTAs and minicamp and training camp. But the one thing that Zach seemed to do then was he was very decisive in throwing. Like, the ball was out of his hand quick. It seemed like once he saw what he wanted, he went there. Have you sensed at all that maybe some of the early hits that he's taken in some of these games, or the way that things went in that New England one, is that causing him to maybe hitch a little bit more than what he was during the offseason program in summer?
Yeah, OTAs, training camp, new system. We're trying to, we're very basic from an installation standpoint. Now you're getting into the nuts and bolts of the team's game plan. So there's a little bit more complexity. There's a little bit more cat and mouse. You're also not scripting to put yourself in good situations to make the right reads. So you're kind of having to adjust on the fly. So it's the difficulty level is amplified tenfold in terms of being able to process the play call and you have no idea what's happening, and to be able to just trust that, all right, I took my hitch, a big hitch, I gotta get rid of the ball. And he is going through a learning curve for sure. And and he's getting better with it. But yeah, to answer your question, it was a lot easier in OTAs and training camp to make those quick decisions because everything is set up for those decisions.
To follow up on that point, how much is, when it comes to the hitch aspect, how much of it is he's just not reading the field quick enough? How much of it is the receivers not getting open? How much of it is the play call? Like, what's going into when it's time to hit that back foot and deliver a strike? There's been some hesitation.
That's all feel and timing, DJ. Like when you hit your back foot, and you take a hitch, you take another hitch, and you really want your guy to get open. But as a quarterback at the same time, and again, I want to make sure I say this right, that everyone's collective in this now. It's not the quarterback's job to just start being checked on Charlie. But if he does take that hitch and the route isn't where he wants it to be, he's got to progress. So for the quarterback, everything is about footwork and progression, footwork, progression. And when his footwork's clean and he progresses in the route, he is, you can see why he was number 2 pick and why we think he's going to have an unbelievable future. He's got to gain more consistency and trust what he sees, progress, get the ball where it needs to go, and the offense will, and be satisfied. The biggest thing you see, DJ, with him is the kid is such a competitive dude. I'm talking ultra competitive, wants to make every single play on Sunday. You can see him just darn near not pressing, but like he wants to make that big throw. And it's like sometimes it's okay. It's okay to say no to the big one for the little one, and vice versa. So.
Zach had said to us yesterday, how this is what you guys have gone through these first 3 weeks. This isn't something that he's necessarily experienced in college. So for a guy that's used to not having his way with the defense, but a guy that's used to having success on the field to now be going through a rut like this, how do you keep him locked in and keep him not getting down on himself?
That's everybody, right? Like I just made the comment, it's round 1 of a 15-round fight, Connor, and we don't have any cuts yet. We're not bleeding. We got a kidney punch. We got the wind knocked out of us, but we'll get our wind back. And he's got to be able to see that some of the stuff he's doing, and just it's a lot of affirmations. What he's doing and the way he's prepping, and the things that he's going through, and it's all good. It's just piecing it together on Sunday and trusting your week's worth of preparation and just staying the course. Work on your footwork, work on your eye placement, work on progressing in the routes in your drop back game, and then obviously for everyone else it's the same thing. Just be precise in what you're doing, be very be accountable, be reliable, protection, route running, all of it, play calling, and he'll get better. I know he will.
Robert,
we'll take a couple more for Coach. Sorry, Cos. We'll take a couple more for Coach.
Robert, you've referenced a few times to us that most games in the NFL come down to the fourth quarter, come down to one possession. That hasn't been the case for you the last 2 weeks. I know you expected some growing pains here and some hiccups, but have you been disappointed at how lopsided these games have been in the last 2 weeks?
I wasn't as disappointed with New England because I felt like New England we did very well. It was just turning the ball over. So even in that, it was, despite 3 turnovers, it was 13-3 at halftime. I felt like we still had a chance to, even in that third quarter, I was like, shoot, we're moving the ball. Let's just piece it together. So I never felt like it was a blowout. Yesterday was disappointing because you do want the opportunities to be in the fourth quarter to see if we can make the plays and all that stuff. And it just didn't materialize. And it happens to the best teams in the league. Green Bay is a championship roster, and they lost 38-7 to New Orleans. So sometimes you just get punched in the mouth. But how you pick yourself up and how you get back to work on Monday and throughout the week and prepare yourself for the next week is all that matters.
Robert, with Elijah, concussion, you're usually not back in a week. So I'm presuming he's probably going to be out this week. Will that affect Denzel's status this week?
With him and Jameson being up in the air for sure. Obviously, we keep Denzel, try to keep etching out a role for him to see if we can get him on the field and produce.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.
Recording stopped.